Hey, it's JP with Central Idaho Mountain Weather. It's January 16th, 2026, looking out at Galena Peak from earlier in the week. And if you're enjoying this broadcast, we ask you to do a one-time donation or even better, sign up for that monthly sustaining membership. We got northerly flow over the next couple days. It's going to cool off temperatures for today, but they'll be on the rise again. And it's going to be continued to be mostly sunny until next week when that ridge starts to break down around Wednesday and start to shift some moisture into our area. Looking at Titus, upper Titus weather station here, you can see on the 14th we climbed into the 40s for temperature, but then when the jet stream changed more towards us and gave us that northerly flow, you can see those temperatures are already starting to dip more towards where they're supposed to be this time of year. Looking at the satellite reel this morning, you can see that big area of high pressure with this Omega block out to our west. And that's changing as that thing shifts further to the west. You can see kind of do a little bit bad job, but the axis is slightly angled this direction, which is going to open up the ridge to spill over and give us some cooler air. It's going to be even cooler to the Midwest, but for a day we'll have some cooler air mixing in with things and helping break some of those big inversions in the Snake Plain. So you'll see today temperatures in the Wood River Valley will drop into the upper 30s, but then climb back into the low 40s again. You can see down in the cloud coverage, clouds are going to start to build around Wednesday as that ridge breaks down and we go into more of a northerly northwest flow. So pay attention to the colors right in the middle of the screen. I just want to show you as this jet stream moves further to the west, you can see that Arctic cool air dipping down into the middle part of the states and then kind of moving to the right, that polar vortex. So we're going to have short-lived temperatures, but it is going to cool off a little bit today, and that's kind of why. We are still seeing a glimmer of hope in the future for a slight risk between the 23rd and 26th for heavy snow. We'll see how that pans out. The long-term temperatures have changed quite a bit in the last 2 days. You can see we're more in slightly above average for temperature, so hopefully that goes more towards normal. And we're looking still above normal for precip towards the end of January when this ridge breaks down. This is looking at the 500 millibar chart for the GFS. You can see today the axis of that ridge is further out to the west. Zoom in a little bit here. And when the top of this ridge is thin, it can be pretty fragile, and any waves that come over the top here could kind of knock this thing off. So we could see that over the next coming days, like right there, it kind of gets knocked off. And we start to go into this northerly northwest flow. And this is kind of around the time on Wednesday when that ridge breaks down. So right about here, Tuesday into Wednesday, you can see that ridge breaks down on this model. And we go more into this northwest dirty flow. So that's going to favor the northern regions. It's not going to be a whopper, but it is going to start opening us up to more moisture coming in, and it's just going to be trickling in over days. And then you see we go more into westerly flow. That will favor a little bit higher snow amounts, and that is looking like the 24th, Saturday. So that's like in that slight risk of heavy snow, and that's so the GFS is signaling towards heavier snow further down, whereas the Euro is kind of showing not a strong pattern of that dropping down. You can see right here on Saturday is when we get that more sustained jet stream coming over our head, but there's a ridge right to its west and going to be inserted in after that. So really, models are still not in alignment, which is fair because it's about 200 hours out, and usually after 144 hours, it can be hit or miss whether the models are going to pan out. Wednesday is when that ridge breaks down. This is looking at the MBM for how much snow we're going to get. You can see the areas to our north are definitely getting more snow with that dirty northwest flow favoring them. But you can start to see snow trickling into our area on Friday and Saturday, mostly the western parts of the mountains. But it does look like the temperatures are going to be colder than they have been. So good news is that ridge is going to break down and we will see moisture mostly next weekend. So 7 days out, quite a bit to wait for.